Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again. Thank you so much to the subscribers. They afford me the opportunity to talk to beautiful people like this, and I have Miss Adrienne Cowan with me today. Adrienne is the vocalist for Seven Spires, a symphonic power metal, extreme metal. We're going to talk a little bit about that as description, out of Boston. That's right, Boston. We'll talk about that too. She has toured the world as part of Avantasia and Masters of Ceremony, as well as Seven Spires. Seven Spires has just released their fourth record on Frontiers, and it's called A Fortress Called Home. She's going to tell us all about it. Adrienne, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Also, very nice introduction. Thanks for that too.
And that's too short. I mean, there's just so much. As I said before we started, I went down the Adrienne Cowan rabbit hole, and I said, wow, she's done this and this and this and this, and she does this on a regular basis and teaches and great Patreon you have, and we're gonna link all of that stuff. It's so much that you do, and it's so much great content. You're a busy person, aren't you?
That is for sure.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let's talk about that. Symphonic, power metal, extreme metal, all of those things, right? The Seven Spires?
Yeah, and more, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I could just go off if you want, or unless you have a particular question.
I do actually.
Okay.
I think of Seven Spires music, and you can elaborate on what you do exactly in Seven Spires, but I think of Camelot, and I think of Helvetii, because you did some gigs with them, and Arch Enemy and Theater of Tragedy, really with Liv Christine there. I'm kind of originating the scream with the symphonic. All of those bands have something in common, and it's not Boston.
I see your point.
You're an American band, and that realm isn't usually American. Tell me how that happens, and Berkeley has a lot to do with that, and your education, I know. But tell me what Seven Spires means, what it is to you, what you guys do, and how you found that realm in Boston.
Sure. Great question. Where do I begin? I mean, you nailed it in the description. Anytime that I have to give an elevator speech to somebody about like what does Seven Spires sound like, I typically will say it's like Camelot and Demon Borgir and one band, and a little bit of Flesh God Apocalypse and some other stuff. So Good thinking already. As far as how we've sort of found, why are we an American band that makes traditionally more European type of metal? I think that can be attributed to the type of music that I think all of us really enjoy. I, between the ages of 12 and 18, was living in England and Netherlands for that time, and I was sort of in part of that scene as a consumer and a fan, and also as a music student. I got basically the equivalent of an associate's degree from the Academy of Contemporary Music, and the reason I actually moved back to the U.S. to Boston when I was 18 is because I got into Berkeley, and so at that point, like in 2012, I was already starting to write some demos and stuff for what I thought was going to be basically a dark and theatrical solo project. I had been kind of immersed in the symphonic realm, mostly listening to Camelot and Dimmu and these other sort of kind of like darker melodic bands. But when I arrived in Boston in 2013, I met Jack, our guitar player, within the first week at Berkeley, and was like, I have these demos, I want to make this type of band. You have a 7-string, I'm wearing a Nightwish shirt that you compliment, I think it's going to work already. So that's kind of how that came about, and he introduced me to some stuff. He showed me Michelangelo Badio, and of course I've always been super into shred guitar, so I went to Berkeley thinking I need to find I need to find the Alexi Leho to my Jan Verben, and I did, and there he is. I wanted to, yeah. But as far as like what does Seven Spires do, and what does it mean to us? I think that was the last part of the question, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a cat?
I do.
Oh, hello.
My black cat.
Oh, what a beauty. Oh. Okay, so I think in an interview like almost maybe 15 years ago at this point, I saw that Tomas Holopainen described Nightwish as being the scenery of his soul. And I think that's pretty much what I think of Seven Spires. I'm the lyricist and the sort of conceptual mastermind. I also do the orchestration, and I co-write the songs, or sometimes write them by myself at first with Jack. And that's basically kind of answers the question of what do we do and what does it mean to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very pure expression of who I am artistically and
That's
who
awesome.
we all are. Yeah.
It's awesome because, you know, I look at the catalog and it's 4 records now. They're concept records. Is the latest one part of the Solvay realm?
Not really officially, but there are a lot of lyrical and melodic references to our original 3 albums, so I can't truly say that it's not linked. Also because, I mean, everything that both music schools that I went to, I took songwriting classes there, and they always teach you to write what you know. So I only ever write what I know. Okay, yeah, I dress it up with like mythology or other fantastical tools, characters, icons, stuff like that to help tell a story. But yeah, I think if I'm writing about like things that I feel or things that I experience, then in a way, some of it is like a diary. And so in that case, it's not connected to the original trilogy, but it's definitely a fortress called home. A fortress called home is definitely not like it started here and then we got the sword and we went on this grand adventure and now we're on the ship and then we have to fight the dragon and blah, blah. It's more like here are some feelings and here's some musings on this thing, and these things might inform the events that unfolded in the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
Or give another perspective to certain things. Yeah.
And that's how it felt. Yeah, that's how it felt when I listened to it. I have to address, you know, it's kind of the elephant in the room. You know, I see the press photo. It's the 3 of you.
Yeah.
And I know Chris Dovis, longtime drummer, took on a full-time position with Testament now. He is on the record, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Are you auditioning drummers? Will you have a permanent drummer? I heard that Dylan Cowan has been playing with you. Truth to that, because Lawrence Cowan is a good friend. So yeah, it was great to hear that Dylan was playing with you guys. If that is true,
It is true.
Great. Tell me the drummer situation for you.
Yeah, okay. So, as you said, Dovis is playing with Testament, and we're super happy for him. And, you know, that's like, I remember when I met him, he was 15 when I met him. And he was like, I told my high school counselor, or my college counselor, whatever, this thing that they have in normal schools here that I didn't go to. He was like, yeah, I told them I already got into Berkeley and I don't care. So if you ask me what my focus, please. If you ask me what my future plans are, I'm going to join Slayer. Obviously, that's not really a thing that's possible now, but I think he got as close to that as you humanly can. And even just from a friend point of view, I couldn't be prouder of him. And I think it's such an amazing thing what he's done with his life. So,
that's so sweet.
Of course, we're sad to lose him. He's also like one of the best drummers I know, period. But it's also really cool because then it gave us the opportunity to really assess the whole band situation, like within the 3 of us. We held auditions, and we had a few like really strong standouts, and yeah, Dylan was one of them. We invited him to go on the European tour with us, just because, of course, it can be the best player in the world, but are they a cool person and do they vibe with our vibe? And he does. So
That's cool.
there's nothing official right now, but we really like him, and I would not be surprised if things go in a certain direction. That's all I can really say about it. He's a really great guy. I like him a lot. I like his playing a lot. He's a super open-minded musician. He listens to everything, and he's so driven to continue to improve himself, which is also something that we all share. So I think so far he's like a great fit, and
Man.
that's all I can say there. Yeah,
That's cool. That is great news. Because well, he comes from a great family. I know that. His dad is a gem, an absolute gem. What a great human being and musician. Wow, did he have some musicianship in his whole household? So yeah, Dylan Cowan. It'd be great. It would be great. We'll keep tabs on that for sure. um, the press release has a quote from you. It says, "I visited the void twice while writing this album." It goes on to say a few things more, but can you explain what you meant by that? And I know this, what you write is deep, and what you write is very introspective. It seems to, obvious in your vocal delivery as well. What is, visited the void? Tell me about that.
sure. I think so. You've done the Adrienne Cowan rabbit hole deep dive, so I think the state of my mental health over the years is not really a secret. Um, and one of the things that I think got me through a lot of hard and dark times when I would visit the void, we could say, was, yeah, making music. And to be honest, like most of these songs, the first demos were done by the end of 2022. So I think this many or some or maybe all, or you can use your ears and your brain and decide which ones. I think the songs came from that dark time, but because the album production went on for so long after I had already like grown past certain things, having to go back and like finish the orchestration, finish everything, and also do the vocal recordings, it was already a very hard time because of certain things that were happening in my family. But then having to reopen that Pandora's box of bad stuff, it was incredibly painful. So yeah, I visited the void twice. One begat the other, and the other begat the one. And it's ugly, and I hate it, and I love it, and I think it's the best thing we've done so far. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is it. Yeah, and thank you for that. Thank you for the honesty and opening up about those things. It's not easy, but I think it helps so many when we get somebody like yourself who we admire, or you're an idol for a lot of people in what you do.
Pressure.
But yeah, I mean, it is when we hear about those things, it makes you human. It makes us human. We share this same earth, and we share these same problems, and it's a beautiful thing that you come out so honestly about that, and I appreciate that.
I would love to just add quickly that
Yeah,
like
please.
when I was a teenager and I was first starting to get into like alternative music and rock and metal and stuff like that, I felt really alone a lot of times, and so it was in listening to other people's music that I sort of realized that I wasn't alone in how I felt. And I think that's actually, aside from purging my own demons, it's also the other super big reason to be a songwriter. At least that's my other big why, just to be what somebody else was for me back then. So if I can come out and say like, hey, I'm just as weird and fucked up as you,
No.
and if somebody feels like seen for that, then that's my job done. And then we can help remove the shame of being weird and fucked up, and then we can grow and enjoy being weird and accept that we're fucked up, and that's fine.
Yep, and it's great. And like I say, thank you for that. Because you are, like I say, an idol for a lot of people, and they listen to what you're saying, and they hear all these things, and it helps them tremendously. I know that for a fact. So, appreciate it, that definitely. And we know it's not easy. The writing process. Now you do the orchestration, you do the lyrics, you write a lot of the songs with Jack. Has that changed from the beginning at all? Have you always done it pretty much like that? That's the formula for Seven Spires?
I think so. I mean, we do some stuff
Cool.
together, we do some stuff alone. I have a degree in orchestration. Is it like, I think that's sort of a Broadway, but it's a large umbrella of stuff, and we have kind of always approached any song in any way, but it has always been we write together or alone. I do the orchestration, he writes some cool riffs, we make stuff together. I have a lot of ideas, and he's like, "That's the one. Let's use that." And sometimes we don't know what to do, and then Pete will come in and be like, "I got you." So
And I just watched the vlog from 2017. Part of the rabbit hole dive. And you're in a tent. You're in Slovenia. You guys are family, though. I mean, it's clearly a family. You guys love each other. It's like a brother and sister family doing what you do. Just really, really special. It's that special, isn't it? I mean,
it is. It is. It really is. Family is absolutely the right word. I think at this point, Pete and Jack and I've known each of them for 10 or 11 years. I think Pete and Jack actually go back even further than that. And we've all, I think I always say this, like, we didn't grow up together, but I think we became adults together, and somehow that may even be more impactful. But we've been through hard times, we've been through the best times, we've learned how to exist as we are in the fucked up world that we live in. And I think these are, I really hope, but I'm pretty sure that this is a lifelong thing. Also, maybe a once in a lifetime thing, but a lifelong.
yeah, that chemistry doesn't always happen. It's very, very fortunate, and we're fortunate as fans to get that because it comes through. I really think, there's that lack of ego, and there's that trust that you're gonna bring that song, or there's gonna be a chemistry in that forwards your progress in the band. It's special. You become known for lore and concept with your catalog. Have you ever thought of like a graphic novel? I know you love the JRPGs and that realm. Have you ever thought about a proper novel or a graphic novel?
Graphic novel would be so awesome. I would
Would
love
that
to
be
see
That would be awesome.
the
It really would.
yeah, to see the world like and the characters really come to life visually. I mean, I sit around with Pickaroo sometimes when I'm like trying to go to sleep, and I make the characters or whatever I imagine they would be.
Yeah.
To be honest, I really think like the world would. I was in Trondheim, Norway recently, and every time I'm there, I'm like, this is just where this character's hometown absolutely is. Like the fjords, it's like a kind of one of their bigger cities, but also it's like not that big, and the fishing origins and everything.
Yeah.
I think a graphic novel would be so sick. I also would love to make a video game at some point. There was a point several years ago where I was like, I'm going back to school. I'm going to learn game design. I'm going to do it my fucking self. We're not going to do that. I don't have time for that. I would love to do it, but I don't. That's like, we need another Adrienne for that. And currently there's no technology for that, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the graphic novel is doable. Yeah, I mean,
I would say so. It has to be the right artist, the right team, the right everything.
yeah.
But that would be super cool.
Oh, that would I'm listening to the catalog, and I'm like, I would just love to see this. It's come to life in my head. To actually see it in like a graphic novel would be just so cool.
Yeah.
Have you thought about soundtracks for games?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I would love to.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's
This
cool.
is also like I actually looked into this pretty extensively, and the whole to be like the in-house composer, let's say for Bethesda, this is like a more than a full-time job. I would be glued to my seat orchestrating or writing music 26 hours a day. It's basically impossible, and I think a lot of times the people who aren't like the musical people and don't understand basically what's involved or what they ask for.
Yeah.
There's also the option of like writing loops that like indie developers can use, and so I have experimented a bit with this, but the most that I've done in terms of like video game soundtracks and also like anime stuff is contributing vocals and doing a little bit of voice acting, but mostly like I worked on Evo last year. I was part of the Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack, something for Arknight, which is like a mobile game. I did some vocals for Ruby, which was an American anime. I'm actually not sure if they're still running because Rooster Teeth was just bought. Anyway, so yeah, I fucking love video games. I would love to get into this world even more. I'm also singing with a symphony, or like rock symphony that does music from Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's such a fun gig. And any chance I get to be part of the video game world, I'm super happy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. On the record, Alessandro Conti had to be a great moment for you. Yeah, you toured with Twilight Force, of course. It kickstarts the record. It's really the first thing on the record. Songs Upon Wine-Stained Tongues. I saw the title and I thought to myself, I love this already. It's just what a great name, what a great title for a song. Those kinds of things I think define Seven Spires for me. It's such a class and royal and just a strong song title. And then of course the song comes on and it just fits all of that. Was the song written with Alessandro in mind? Was it written with a duet in mind? Or was it just written as a song like the rest of them and all of that came later?
I think the answer is yes. I remember writing the initial text, which was just honestly a brain dump on a plane at some point a few years ago. And the song is about the terror of like really opening yourself and truly being vulnerable and letting somebody or somebody's in, and also letting yourself out after so long of keeping yourself isolated in order to stay safe, knowing that you can't stay like that forever. So at some point I was like, this probably should be a duet, I think. And there was I think at the beginning of 2023, I finally went to, now you're just getting all the lore. I went to a psychiatrist and I was like, I've been in therapy for 2 years and some things are not getting fixed. Can you please help me? And she's like, you have these things that are different about your brain. I will prescribe you these things. And so it was my first year with medication. And I just finally was able to be the person I wanted to be. And this is important because after I started the medication, I was like, here I am after all this time. And I remember it was like a few days before we left for tour to go out with Twilight Force. And I was on a video call with Pete. And I was like, I really like the way I am. I've wanted to be this for so long, but I also feel like I'm so fucking annoying. And I feel like if I show this, they're just all gonna hate me and think I'm just the most annoying person ever. And like, I won't know how to deal with that. And he was like, just be that person. We already love you. And if somebody doesn't like it, fuck them. They're like, just fuck them. So I did that. And Ale was one of the first friends that I really did with this new mindset and approach to myself. And so the song was already kind of written. I had already thought like, maybe this should be a duet. It's already also missing some stuff in terms of orchestration. And then after that tour, I was like, it has to be him, and I know exactly how to orchestrate this now.
That's
And
just,
so,
that's awesome. I mean, that's
yeah,
like it's fate. It's all those planets aligning, and
yeah.
just a beautiful thing. And
Mhm.
what a song. Just so great. Um, if I have someone that wants to hear Seven Spires, you got a pretty vast catalog now. Um, they it's a one-off world. You get 5 minutes, and then you're moving on. I got somebody for 5 minutes. What do I play for them?
This is a hard question.
It is. It's hard for me. Hey, I know this band Seven Spires. Okay, play me a song.
Okay,
What do I
because
do?
because here's the thing. I think some songs in our catalog I look like really short now. I think some songs in our catalog are good for casual listening, and I think some songs you have to be in a certain mood and you have to like kind of be ready for them in a way. So one of the songs, if we're looking at the entire catalog,
Yeah.
maybe we just talk about like the two most recent records, because I think "This God Is Dead" is a super important song. I would show somebody this, but if it's like a casual setting and you want to like have a quick payoff of like, get it, they have blast beats, they have good singing, they're melancholy, they have good guitar solos, really good bass playing, good everything, blah blah blah. It would either be "Gods of Debauchery" or "The Old Hurt of Being Left Behind." If it's a casual metal listener that also is not yet ready for extreme vocals, it would be "Almost Town." But if you really have the time and it's somebody that is like emotionally open to getting hurt and like feeling things, it has to be "Love Souvenir."
Yeah, yeah, Love Souvenirs is incredible. And you mentioned Almost Town, and when I hear that, I hear a single. Like you said, it's Seven Spires, most definitely. Uh, but it's not everything you do. It is definitely the radio single. It is, it is the appealing chorus and the catchiness of it. Just a beautiful song as well. Uh, but there's, those things, though, that deeper experience and that passion that, so much of your work has. Uh, you have to explore the catalog. You really do. It's just great. Um, yeah, what's touring look like for you guys? Is there a gig or venue that, yeah, I mean, you've played around the world. It's pretty great at such a young age. You've seen so much of the world. It's so great. I try to get my kids out of the house and into, outside of their backyard. And, I've been able to do that on a small scale. You've done that on a large scale. You've seen other cultures. You've been to other places, seen other events, played them. Is there a gig or event, festival or a venue that you've always wanted to play?
That I always wanted to play.
Yeah, and haven't had the chance yet?
Ooh, to be honest, I don't even think like that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's great because
Yeah.
you're fulfilling your destiny each time you go out there.
Makes it
Pretty
easy to be
cool.
happy.
And when
Uh,
I think of Boston, I think of the Boston Garden. Like Madison Square Garden.
oh yeah,
Europe,
okay. I
you
mean,
know,
if you asked me when I was in high school, maybe I would have said like Wembley or something. But I mean,
yeah, yeah,
I don't I don't think like that, because if I say I will be happy, or like bucket list item, Wembley Stadium, if I don't get that, will there be a small part of me that feels a little disappointed? Maybe.
right.
But if I just am so happy that I get to tour with my friends with the art that we made together, I couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. That is just so cool. How do you, one of the things I come to find when I talk to people, especially singers, the on the road is I know how tedious it is, and it can be, especially when you're traveling overseas and it's long hours of, doing nothing or traveling, and then you play for 40 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever it might be, and then you're back traveling and doing nothing and eating badly and all of that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. And to the eating badly part, for a singer, your instrument is your body. Uh,
Yes.
so a guitar player can smoke, drink, eat gummy bears all day long and still play his guitar. You can't do that so much. You have to get sleep, you have to get water, you have to, all of those things to keep your instrument in shape. Do you have a regimen on like the road when you're sleeping in a tent in Slovenia? What do you do? Because that's important for you. Do you have a system that you try to that find you're successful in eating well and taking care of your body like that?
This is a really good question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I kind of do have a certain way that I live like on tour, but it used to be just on tour, and then it was like, okay, well, if I'm doing a lot of vocal stuff, then I live like this. And now it's just sort of a lifestyle. Um, and I know what I'm about to say is going to sound like really privileged, so I just want to acknowledge that. But the fact is, I make enough money as a musician and an artist that I don't have a traditional 9 to 5. So I'm able to listen to my body, sleep when I need to, uh, and make sure. Yeah, basically that the sleep thing is super hard because I've had insomnia since I was 12, so 17 years. So if there's a time where like I just need to go the fuck to sleep, I can just go and do that, and I will, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to deliver what's needed of me 16 hours from now. So I'm super thankful for that. I drink, try to carry like electrolyte powder or tabs with me. So if I can't drink a ton of water, because sometimes you can only absorb so much water at a time. I think that's how that works. And also like if I have to pee all the time when traveling in a van, like because I have to stay hydrated. This was a huge problem in our early touring days, but thankfully that's not the case anymore. So yeah, I try to in the morning, especially when traveling in a van or excuse me, in a bandwagon or a bus, I try to drink like a whole bottle of water with like a zinc tab, and then I drink electrolytes through the day. I don't really drink a lot of coffee while on tour because it upsets my stomach. And if I have an upset stomach, I don't want to be gross, but like it's a very fast way to become dehydrated.
Yeah.
So I used to party super hard on the road too. I mean, let's be honest, I think I had an alcohol problem. And I still love to have a party night here and there, but I don't even regularly have one drink
Yeah.
per night anymore on tour, and I don't really drink at home at all. And that's just a lifestyle choice too. I don't eat garlic and onions because I'm allergic to them, and it's extremely painful if I eat it. And sometimes I'm throwing up, or I pass out, or maybe both, and it's just the fucking worst. And I can't sing, so I have to be pretty careful with what I eat. But there are ways around that. Like if somebody can't cook something up, like can you just give me a buyout? I'll go to the grocery store and buy like some cheese and prosciutto and a baguette, maybe a protein shake, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I try not to talk too much, like on show day before the show. Just try to sleep in. I usually wake up 1 hour before sound check, drink my drinks, go to sound check, go back to the bus or whatever, take care, eat something. I try to eat one hot protein heavy meal per day, and then I can supplement the rest with whatever bullshit.
Right.
That's basically how it is. And I try to like stretch, and I don't lift super heavy stuff because that puts wear and tear on my vocals too. And yeah,
You
I'm
know,
delicate.
well, and you mentioned sounding privileged. That sounds brutal. You've worked so hard for what you have. Not privileged at all.
Okay.
You work hard. Just maintaining your body on the road is a job.
Yeah.
It is, all of that, what you just described. There's a lot of people that would never be able to do that. What you do is phenomenal. It just your voice just crazy great. And your writing and all of the things that you do, just you've earned your spot, and we are so glad to see you shine, for sure, for sure.
Thanks a lot.
What's touring look like for you? You're off the road now, right? You just got done with Avantasia, right?
For now.
Yeah.
I leave in 8 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Back out with them?
Yeah, I have 2 shows back to back. They're in Europe, so I will fly my ass there, play the shows, probably on very little to no sleep, and then fly back here. But there's some more shows during the summer with Avantasia in August. So next month we have a headliner with Seven Spires here in the U.S. at a Mile High Power Fest in Denver.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what September, October, November will look like. I think there are some Sonic Symphony shows. In that band, there are 2 singers. The other one is Ty from Lords of the Trident. So I don't know if he will do those shows or if I will do those shows or if we both do them together. I don't know. I have to ask the guy. And then in December, Seven Spires and Lords of the Trident will go to Japan. So I don't know what Sonic Symphony is going to do, but I think there's only one show that they're working on where neither of us are available. Anyway, it's fine. Everything works out as it should. I'm so looking forward to going to Japan. I love Japan. I was there in February for like 10 days.
It's Yeah, I'm so happy for you being able to do this. Being able to travel and see these cultures and see these venues and the people of all kinds just worshiping what you do. It really is. You're changing lives out there for sure. And I looked at Japan, and there's not a city you're playing every big city. It's just so awesome. It's just really really cool. I'm here in the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
Would love to see you guys out here. Lords of the Trident, you mentioned, saw them in the same venue as Illuma Shade and Visits of
nice.
Atlantis and Corpaclani. So that would be great. And I think you probably played that venue, the Forge.
Oh yeah.
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 Venue. We love what you do in that part of the town there. It's always a big people come out for these shows, which is really cool. So
I remember.
Yeah, that's cool. So we would love to see you back. We will. All the links will be in the description. You can keep tabs on Seven Spires and what Adrienne is doing. Adrienne, this has been so special. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Scott. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for asking great questions, letting me have space to bleh at you.
And like I say, you're changing lives. You're helping people. And it's so fulfilling to hear your voice and what you guys do in Seven Spires. We so appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Please
It's nice to hear.
Yeah. Please come back and see us. Anything you got, my door is always open.
Thanks a lot. I know that we can't wait to go back. We're also like, how do we do North America again? Like soon. We have to, obviously. We want to, we have to. Chicago's always a great time.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll be back soon.
Yeah, cool. You got some time. Do your thing, and we'll wait for you. That's for sure.
So,
All right. Adrienne, thank you so much. Be well.
thank you as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too.